Think back to the chilling brilliance of Ryan Chamberlain stalking Felicia Jones, or the slow burn terror of the text message killer. Those storylines relied on masterful long-term storytelling, weaving a web so tight that by the time the heroine realized she was trapped, there was absolutely no way out. The writers of that era understood that true horror does not come from the attack itself, but from the agonizing anticipation of it. Today, as I watch this mysterious stalker circle our beloved Trina, I feel that same familiar, icy dread creeping up my spine. This is not just a fleeting obsession, this is a meticulously planned siege. The prevailing assumption among many fans right now is that this stalker is solely focused on possessing Trina. But if you ask me, looking at the board through the lens of decades of soap opera experience, his true target is much broader and far more sinister. He does not just want to claim Trina, he wants to isolate her completely. He wants to eliminate absolutely anyone who might stand in his way, anyone who might offer her protection, or anyone who might figure out his identity before he is ready for his grand theatrical finale. And that brings us to two very specific, very vulnerable players on the canvas right now, Kai Taylor and Willow Kane. You might be asking yourself, why would this unseen terror target Kai and Willow? Let us break it down logically. Kai has always possessed a sharp, observant nature. We have seen him recently piecing together the truth about Drew Kane's miraculous recovery, worrying alongside Trina that Willow might try to silence Drew permanently. Kai is a seeker of truth, and in the dangerous world of Port Charles, seeking the truth paints a massive, glowing target on your back. The stalker knows that Kai is fiercely protective of Trina, that he is deeply involved in her life, and that he is smart enough to notice when things do not add up. The stalker cannot afford to have a wild card, like Kai, sniffing around his carefully laid plan. Kai is an obstacle, and to a predator, obstacles must be removed. As for Willow, her life is already a chaotic, tangled mess of secrets, blackmail, and dangerous liaison. She is currently dealing with the fallout of Brooklyn framing her for the hit and run, her desperate reliance on Jack Brennan for blackmail material against Drew, and her own profound paranoia. She is distracted, vulnerable, and completely oblivious to any threats outside her immediate bubble. The stalker sees this clearly. He sees that Willow is a loose thread in the fabric of Trina's extended social circle. By targeting Willow, he can create massive collateral damage without immediately drawing attention to his true motive. Eliminating Willow would send shockwaves through the town, distracting the police and leaving Trina feeling even more unmoored and surrounded by tragedy. Let us talk about character integrity. Trina Robinson is a legacy character in the making, a young woman of immense strength, grace, and moral fortitude. She has survived unimaginable heartbreak and loss, always emerging with her head held high. To break someone with her level of character integrity, a villain must be exceptionally cunning. This stalker is doing exactly that by laying down a labyrinth of false trails. He is intentionally orchestrating events to make Kai and Trina suspect the wrong people. We see Quinn returning to town, trying to make amends, and immediately suspicions arise. Then there is the new music producer, Simon, who has shown a sudden, intense interest in Giovanni and the music scene. The stalker is throwing these red herrings into the water because he knows Kai will bite. He wants Kai to waste his energy chasing shadows, investigating innocent men, while the real predator slips quietly through the back door to approach Willow and set his ultimate deadly trap. I suspect that the situation is about to escalate into a horrifying crescendo that will leave us all breathless. The stalker is not just going to send creepy messages or linger in the background forever. He is going to make a definitive, violent move. I believe he will orchestrate a scenario where Kai and Willow are lured into the exact same trap, completely unaware of the danger until the steel jaws snap shut around them. Imagine a secret, abandoned location, perhaps an old warehouse on the docks, a forgotten basement beneath the city, or a secluded cabin in the woods, classic soap opera settings for a devastating tragedy. They will be ambushed. The stalker will strike with ruthless efficiency, leaving both Kai and Willow completely immobilized, lying motionless on the cold floor. For us viewers, it will be a terrifying cliffhanger. We will be left staring at our screens, our hearts in our throats, genuinely believing that these two characters have taken their final breaths. But the true cruelty of this stalker's plan is not just the physical harm inflicted on Kai and Willow. It is the psychological torture designed specifically for Trina. I am convinced that the stalker will deliberately orchestrate the scene so that Trina is the very first one to arrive. He will leave her a breadcrumb, a sinister clue, or a fake distress message that compels her to rush to that secret location. And when she bursts through those doors, breathless and panicked, the sight that greets her will be meant to completely break her mind. Seeing Kai, her dear friend and confidant, and Willow, a woman tangled in the complex web of her daily life, lying there, seemingly lifeless, it will be a devastating, soul-crushing blow. The stalker wants her to witness this carnage firsthand. He wants her to understand the ultimate price of defying him, the terrible cost of having people in her life who care for her. This is the hallmark of a truly legendary villain. He does not just want to defeat his enemies. He wants to make a theatrical, horrifying display of his absolute power. By leaving Kai and Willow's bodies for Trina to find, he is sending a crystal clear message. You belong to me, and anyone else who tries to claim your attention or offer you comfort will suffer the ultimate penalty. It is a twisted, sick declaration of ownership. It strips away Trina's support system, leaving her isolated, terrified, and entirely at his mercy. This is exactly how you build a storyline that resonates for years. It is not just about the shock value of a violent attack. It is about the lingering trauma, the profound emotional scars that will define Trina's character trajectory for the next decade. As a veteran fan, I often find myself questioning the choices the current writing regime makes. Do they truly understand the immense weight of the legacy characters they are handling? When they put a beloved young woman like Trina through such agonizing psychological warfare, they are walking a very fine line between compelling drama and gratuitous cruelty. If you ask me, the brilliance of this potential storyline lies entirely in its execution. If they rush it, it will feel like cheap sensationalism. But if they take their time, if they let the dread simmer, if they allow us to see the stalker meticulously planning this trap for Kai and Willow, and if they give Trina the space to process the sheer horror of her discovery, then this could be a masterpiece of modern daytime television. It echoes the profound, character-driven narratives that made us fall in love with the genre in the first place. It requires patience from the audience and bravery from the writers to let the darkness fully envelop the canvas before the light can return. We also have to consider how this terrifying plot impacts the broader canvas of Port Charles. While Trina and Giovanni are exploring their musical connection, and fans are wondering if they will become the next great super couple, this stalker storyline violently interrupts that budding romance. It reminds us that in this town, happiness is always fleeting, and danger is the only true constant. The stalker's actions against Kai and Willow will send massive shockwaves through the entire community. It will pull in Anna Devane and the police department. It will ignite the fierce, protective fury of Curtis and Portia, and it will force everyone to realize that the monsters are not just hiding under the bed, they are walking among them in broad daylight, hiding in plain sight. Let us visualize that fateful moment when Trina makes her horrifying discovery. The lighting will be dim, perhaps just a single, flickering bulb casting long, menacing shadows across the floor. Trina's footsteps will echo in the heavy silence, her voice trembling as she calls out into the darkness, and then the camera will slowly pan to reveal the devastating truth. The sheer emotional weight of that scene will require an Emmy-worthy performance, and we know our girl has the profound talent to deliver it. The stalker will likely be watching from the shadows, reveling in her despair, feeding off her tears. It is a level of psychological cruelty that harkens back to the darkest days of the Cassadine curses and the Phazon obsession. In the end, my dear friends, this is exactly why we watch. We endure the heartbreak, we yell at our television screens in frustration, and we shed genuine tears for these fictional lives because they have become a cherished part of our own. Even when the storylines take a turn into the macabre, even when the writers push our beloved characters to the absolute brink of despair, our passion for General Hospital remains steadfast and unwavering. We have weathered decades of storms, shocking resurrections, and devastating tragedies, and we will weather this one too. We will stand by Trina as she faces this unimaginable darkness, hoping that the immense strength she inherited from her legacy will guide her back to the light. Until tomorrow, keep your loved ones close, and never underestimate the power of a woman who has survived Port Charles.